everybody, and welcome back to another day of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Xbox. We got a couple of stories. We got Xbox strategy is becoming actively a repellent to players. We're going to talk about Microsoft addresses rumors surrounding Xbox console's future. We're going to talk about the future of Xbox software publishing as the next console generation faces doubt. We're going to talk about also... Oh, where's this one? Xbox next-gen console hardware plans aren't canceled. So we'll go through the whole, the relationship, depression, denial, and everything else. We're also going to talk about Kingmaker. Kingmaker gets a surprise delay week before release. We'll talk about that as well. And then we're also going to talk about Lost. Call of Duty sales has reportedly cost Microsoft millions of dollars. Okay. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Ward? What's going on, Altern, Eclipse, Sarge, Roic, Kylo Green? What's going on, man? Para, Argus, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone had a good weekend. This weekend, we always talk about this after the weekend on Monday shows. This weekend, we watched a movie called Back in Action on Netflix. It's with Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx. It reminds me, not a terrible movie by any means. It's actually quite entertaining, very predictable and whatnot. But it reminded me, and it feels like Hollywood. I don't even know if you call it Hollywood, because is Netflix Hollywood? I guess it's Netflix is Hollywood. Anyway, they're trying to make movies that feel like the 90s again, right? Like feels like the 90s, where it's just fun, like it knows what it is. It's not trying to do something other, right? That trying to make it bigger than it is. It's just a fun movie. Pretty good. Cameron Diaz hasn't acted in like 9 years, 10 years. So she came back. It's actually, you mean good movies? Yeah, like good movies. Yeah. So it's just a fun movie. Just a fun movie. That, and we finished Reacher. I know it's been out for like months and months and months, but we finally finished Reacher season 3 this weekend. So I've been watching a lot more shows and movies again. So Water Bear says, "Morning guys, who's excited for Kings?" Oh wait, they got us with the fast one. They did. We're gonna talk about that, Water. We're gonna talk about that. What's going on, Z? I even have Z calling himself Z. Yeah. So we're gonna start with Xbox. We're going to start with Xbox because there's a lot going on with Xbox, and I want to make sure I get this. What's going on? Good morning, El Dente. So Xbox strategy is becoming actively a repellent to players. This article comes from Forbes, from Paul Tassi. Okay. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We are a small channel, so hitting that like button really, really helps us out. The way that YouTube is to get out there more, it doesn't matter what I do as far as the title or the thumbnail or anything else. The like button is really what helps other channels get pushed, because if you watch my content and you watch someone else's content, they go, oh, this person likes this, and they also like this. So because these people like these things, we're going to push it out to other people that also either like this or this type of content. So appreciate it very much. All right, so this week, Microsoft raised prices on Xbox Game Pass in a generally shocking degree, filing similar large hikes on all the current generation hardware. While it's also tough times in the economy, to be sure, it's also true that the consumer side and what Xbox is doing here is now completely incomprehensible. Okay, while other competitors like Sony finally did give in and raise hardware prices due to tariff issues imposed by Trump's administration. Look, stop this with this. Stop this with this. Right? Again, plenty of PlayStations in the United States, plenty of other places. And if the tariffs were such a thing, then why is Brazil raising prices? Because they have nothing to do with Donald Trump and the administration that's happening over there. Xbox has now done it so twice, and the end result being Xbox Series X and cost $600 to $100 more than it did in the launch of the last 5 years ago. An $800 Xbox Series X 2TB is a direct competitor to the more powerful PlayStation 5 Pro, which now costs $50 less. For now, put a little asterisk there. Okay. Xbox has no real space to do this, given that it's already been losing on console sales more badly this generation as it did last. Okay. Microsoft is no longer reports exact Xbox hardware sales or numbers. They haven't done that in years. But it's also the generation started around 2-to-1 ratio against Sony, and estimated quarterly declines have now made it a far more lopsided. For some reason, even though the console war has been done for about 2 years now in this life cycle, okay? It's been out for 5. The first 3 years, it's been over. We know it's over. They know it's over. But for some reason, we have this like, rah, here we are, okay? This lopsided, but they already know. We already know that Xbox it's been lopsided for the 25 years that Xbox has been out. The closest was the 360 to the 3 when PlayStation literally charged $600 back in a time frame when everyone else was charging $250 to $300. Okay? Because of the Blu-ray player. Okay? And I don't remember this much hate for them back then, but I could be wrong. I know there was a lot of pushback going, what the hell, $600? And here we are now, right? Here we are now. Okay, the Xbox Game Pass price hike feels dramatically opposed to the constant refrain from Microsoft that despite seemingly huge costs and foregone game sales, Game Pass is profitable. If that's true, then either this is a huge greed grab or a loyalty consumers trying to squeeze them to the unprecedented degree further margins. Let's not just put this in Microsoft world here. Let's put this with Nintendo. Let's put this with Sony. I've been saying this for years. All companies, Apple, right? Microsoft, Sony, okay? Nintendo. All of these companies do the exact same thing. Morning, Wonder Rose. Okay, morning, Travis. Right? All of them do the same thing. They take the customers they already know. Right? Look at the microtransactions. The whales, the people they know that are actually paying 20% make 80%. They know the 20% fund the 80%. So what do? They put things in the game so the whales will buy more of it. Sony sold you a $250 handheld device that you need a $500 device to use. They sold you goggles for $550, which is $50 more than the actual console was, and you needed the console to use the headset. So stop with this, where Microsoft is milking the loyal customers. That's what customers do. The fans, the 20%, make 80% of all the money from everywhere. Okay? Look at Taylor Swift fans. Okay? She has a movie coming out. She has like 5 different variants of covers for their music or whatever, and they buy it all. They buy it all. And they don't care. You know why? Because they're the fans. They're the fans. Okay? Nintendo raising the price. Who do you think's buying that? The fans. The fans buy the Nintendos. The fans buy the Sony products. The fans buy the Xbox products. The fans buy the Apple products. This is how it works. Welcome to business. Okay, so it says approaching the ceiling where over time subscription numbers are going to flatline once the market for a service like this is tapped. If that's the case, it would also be more desperate than greedy. Neither option is good. At the end result here seems like a company that's actively trying to repel players, be that it's existing or new ones. Why would you ever buy a more expensive Xbox, less powerful Xbox over a rival PlayStation? Why would you agree to a $360 a year subscription service that jumped 50% in instance with no coherent justification for that? And this is not even addressing another big issue over the course of the past year, which Xbox dueling out a loads of games of PlayStation, PC, occasionally Nintendo Switch, meaning having an Xbox console or staying on the Xbox ecosystem feels unnecessary. What have I been saying? I don't know, fucking like 3 years, 4 years, maybe even longer, right? I said that Xbox doesn't care if you buy a console, if you play it on the television set, if you play it on the mobile phone, they don't care. We read an article last week about Amazon Luna, talking about Amazon Luna said that, hey, you want to play games? You don't need to buy hardware. If you already own a controller that's Bluetooth, you can just hook it up to the thing. Just get a Fire Stick. How much is a Fire Stick? You can get a Fire Stick for like $30. Okay. How come? Oh my God. Right. In their article last week, they said 3 billion people have a device. 3 billion. And only 250 to 300 million people own a console. That's a big gap. 300 million compared to 3 billion. Right. Yet these people still don't understand or see what's happening in the industry. But you know who sees? Crazy Uncle Mike, okay? 30 NSG has been seeing this for years. I've been saying it on other people's podcasts, okay? It says, I do not think it's impossible for Microsoft to be a big gaming leader by leaning into almost exclusively into Game Pass, but that would require enough high-quality first-party games each year to be worth it, the ability to partner with a bigger third-party games that also launch on the service, and a desire to keep most of this locked into Game Pass, not spread through 4 different platforms. They do understand that Microsoft is not in it just for gaming, right? Right? Imagine someone going, I don't understand what Microsoft is doing. How are they not making hardware for their computers? How are they staying alive for 40 years when they're not making computers? They make the Surface, okay? But where do you think the money's coming from? From the software, from the subscription software, from 365, from Word, from all these other things, from Windows, okay? And they're like, I just don't see how Microsoft is going to do this. I don't understand. There's no way that everyone's going to go digital. I don't see it. It's not going to happen. The cloud's never going to happen. But whatever you say, keep la la la, la la la. Right? For a non-absurd price, or even if it did at all, $30 a month is one of the most expensive media subscriptions in the market. It is. It is absurd. It is absurd. Okay? And what I like, I've noticed this weekend, I watched a lot of videos. A lot of videos of people content creators that make content where they shit on Xbox, which is fine. Go ahead and shit on Xbox. I don't give a shit. Okay? But I think it's funny and hypocritical when you say that Game Pass is bad. Game Pass is bad. Game Pass is not good. It's not a good deal. It's not a good deal. And then the same people that are saying that Game Pass is not a good deal, then come out and say, well, I canceled my Game Pass. Did you guys hear that? Game Pass is bad. Game Pass is not good. It's not a good deal. It's bad for the industry. And then they come out and say, well, I canceled my Game Pass. I thought you said you didn't have Game Pass. I thought you didn't have Game Pass. I thought you said Game Pass was bad. So now you have Game Pass, and Game Pass was bad before, but now you're complaining about it, that it's more bad. Make it make sense for me, chat. Make it make sense for me, because there's sure a lot of people canceling Game Pass that supposedly didn't have Game Pass, right? Like, they didn't have Game Pass, but they come out and say, hey, we're canceling Game Pass. Either there wasn't a lot of people on Game Pass, or everyone is full of shit. Or both. I don't know. Okay? Right now, it has none of these things going for it unless something changes. This grand experiment does not seem like it will have a long-term legs going forward. And I'm starting to legitimately worry about Xbox brand continued existence as a whole, given the decision that Microsoft has been making. Here's the thing, Paul. Microsoft, again, I'll use an analogy that nerds could understand, and I'm a nerd, okay? Again, in New Hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi is a washed-up Jedi that has been watching over Luke Skywalker for the longest period of time and waiting for him to bloom into his own man. And then he decides that I'm no useful because I'm old. He was like 45, okay? Right? He's old and he's not used here anymore. He starts to fight Darth Vader and he says, strike me down and I'll become more powerful than ever. Like, he's physically there. Xbox is physically here, okay? But then as he strikes down physical Obi-Wan Kenobi, he becomes an digital Obi-Wan Kenobi, where now he could talk and be more powerful than ever before. That's what Xbox is trying to do. I'm not saying that's what they are, but what I'm saying is they're physically here until they're not. And then when they're not a physical box anymore, Xbox is still here because then they're everywhere, which they already are. On all digital devices, 3 billion devices, hence why years ago, Phil Spencer said we're not worried about Sony and Nintendo, we're worried about Amazon and Google. Okay? And again, Stadia that came out was before its time, but Google learned from what that is. Okay? Netflix is tripling down on video game subscriptions, putting it on their value for Netflix. Okay? Amazon Luna is making Luna more appealing because they're not going for the exact same clientele as Xbox, but they're going for or Microsoft. They're going for the clientele that's in the cloud, and they're also going for people that want to play board games and do everything else. Okay, so all of these things, right? Imagine everyone's going to the cloud: Nintendo, Sony, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. Do you think they're just like, Microsoft's like, I don't know. This is just a shot in the dark. We might just go to the cloud and maybe it'll work. No, the whole industry is moving towards the cloud. If you think that the cloud and digital gaming is not what it is, I'm sorry. You need to wake up because that's exactly what it is. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. What's going on, Mr. Luke? What's going on, Roadkill? Roadkill says, Microsoft, they're nothing more than a third-party publisher. There is no new Xbox that handheld once. They see it, it fails. That's it for them. Well, they didn't make the handheld. And again, that was something else I already said, Roadkill. I said, why would Xbox make their own handheld when they can just team up with other people that are already making the stuff? Why compete with the handheld device when you can make money off the handheld? If they make a handheld and this person makes a handheld and this person makes a handheld, there's like 5 handhelds now that you're going for. But if I make no handheld and team up with someone else that's already making the handheld and then put that on that handheld and anyone else that wants to put it on their devices, that's 100% of everything instead of 5% of nothing. Okay? Right? Who cares? Right? Who cares if Xbox just goes to publishing? Sega's a publisher. Sega doesn't make a system anymore. Sega makes games. Congratulations. Here's the thing. Everyone thinks they want Xbox to go bye-bye. I literally watched my own podcast because I remember talking about this from 2 years ago. It was February of 2023, I think, right? It was right before the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And I was talking about that everyone wants Xbox gone. And when Xbox is gone, PlayStation will have no competition because no one talks about Sony against Nintendo. They only talk about Sony versus Microsoft, okay? And if there was no Xbox, then Sony and Nintendo would do exactly what Xbox is doing now. Raise the prices because they can, because there is no competition, okay? They just do whatever they want, right? So, again, Microsoft right now is like playing 4D chess. $30 is absurd. $30 is absurd for a streaming service. But you know what else is $30? Okay? At least it was in the past. I don't know what it is now. But where you could play any game from any computer, I believe it was GeForce Now. There was another program where it cost $34 a month. And this was years ago. Okay? $34 a month to stream your games that you already owned on a computer that you couldn't run, right? So if I have a really crappy computer and I couldn't run it, I could pay $30 a month to stream games that I already owned. I have to buy the game, okay? And people were fine with it. No one bitched about it. There was no articles about how expensive it was, okay? It was just people playing and going, wow, this is a really good cloud service. Right? Really good cloud service. Here, let me see what this is right now. Hold on. Next generation in cloud GeForce Now. Okay. I know there's a free membership, right? Where is the actual prices? Yeah, right here. Ultimate GeForce Now RTX 4080. If you want to play the Ultimate Edition for 12 months, right? Which you have access to 4,000 plus games, still cheaper than what it was. But you get an 8-hour game session, right? They have a time limit on it. Up to 4K resolution, up to 240 frames per second, first priority access queue, 16 verse CPU core of 56 gigabytes of RAM, ray tracing, 100-hour of premium monthly playtime, right? You get all of this stuff for $200 for 12 months, no ads. Okay, you get $100 for 12 months for no ads, or you could join for free, but you only can play for 1 hour gaming session, 1 hour gaming session, 6 hour gaming session, 8 hour gaming session. Okay, $200, right? Monthly plans, $10 and $20. Okay, obviously this is not there. They have a day pass for $8, $4 and $8. This used to be super expensive back in the day. This is way before that Game Pass even raised to $20. Okay, nobody was writing articles about this. This is too expensive. Nobody, right? Nobody was arguing that on live, okay, or what was it called? Yeah, on live, wasn't it? It was where you could rent space. Okay, let me see. On live, I think it was called. I think Sony picked them up, by the way. I think it was called On Live. Yeah, On Live. From 2009 to 2015. Let me see what the prices were. Okay. So On Live was a management platform whose paid subscriptions start at $200 per month and offers a free trial and a free version. Paid plans, a basic plan starts at $200 per feature per month. Okay. Okay. This was a gaming thing back in the thing. Or was this a different one? Right? Online. Was it On Live Gaming? Is that what it was? I think it was Online Gaming. Let me see if that was the right one. Okay. On Live shut down closed gaming service, sold its assets in 2015, so are no longer On Live prices to consider. Service offered different pricing models, including a $15 a month in 2010, a later $10 a monthly play package subscription access and gaming library, right? And you could actually pay for more, right? And then buy the games, which is exactly what Netflix did for movies and what Game Pass is doing for, right? Nobody was complaining about this as well, right? No one else was complaining about this as well. And this was well overpriced, right? They were charging $15 back in 2010. Right? People forget real fast how expensive things were. And I'm not defending Xbox in any way, shape, or form. But all I'm saying is a lot of people that say they don't like Xbox, say they didn't want to play Game Pass, say they didn't hate it, or they said they hated it, are all of a sudden canceling the thing that they said they didn't like and played and bought. It's just odd to me. Now, obviously, there was people, when it went up to $20, that paid the $10 or $12 or $15 because they bought all the cards up for years and years. We had people in chat last week say that they're paid up for until 2027 or whatever it was. Okay, that's what people are doing now. They're taking the thing. So the $30 for the smart ones, the people that want to still have the service but don't want to pay the $30 and they still want to pay their fee that they're paying now, they're going to pay cheaper for the actual service. All right. Para says 30. There's breaking news out there. Microsoft confirms it scrapped the Xbox Game Pass discount on all games and DLC purchases, gives subscribers more rewards. That's not a new thing. That's literally was last week. It was already in the thing that no one talked about. Right? That's not a new thing. Right? They literally said it in the points where they said, "Oh, you get a $100 value or whatever it is." It's just that people started reading the fine print of what it was. Right? Because when you actually go to your Xbox and go to the DLC, it says, hey, you get points. It literally says it on the actual thing. That's not breaking news. So let me read this. Now, we read news articles, even though there's updated news articles, because this is from October 5th, but there's another one, I believe, that's on October... Is this the new one? Yeah, this is from 17 hours ago. So it's from the 5th, but later in that day. So let's go. Microsoft addresses rumors surrounding Xbox console future. Okay. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay, Microsoft has addressed the rumor suggesting that the future of Xbox hardware is up in the air. In a statement provided to Windows Central, Microsoft says that they are actively investing, okay, in the future of Xbox systems. Quote, we are actively investing in our future for first-party consoles and device designs, engineered and built by Xbox. The company said for more details in the community can also revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. Okay. Rumors in Microsoft future Xbox hardware begin in the question surfaced from the insider of NeoGAF, which is, I don't know why anyone's taking stuff from NeoGAF. Okay, Sneakers SO, okay, who made a post on the forum suggesting as such. In their post, Sneakers SO said that they're really concerned, or concrete plans. They're really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling, given that these things also was meant to be out relatively soon, right? So the post also suggests that the future of Xbox is in software, with games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, and Forza Horizon being the focus. It was also mentioned that in the time of information posted needed to be taken with a grain of salt. However, it appears that the noise became loud enough that Microsoft has the issue statement to dispel the rumors, at least that the hardware part. Sneaker SO also suggested that Microsoft will hold more layoffs in quarter one. I think me and Sarge said that, and I think many of you also figured that, right? After the holidays, people get let go every year I think it was every year. We went back and looked at it. I think every year for the last 7 years, there's been layoffs. Okay. If it was 200 people, if it was 20,000 people, right? Every year for the last 7 years, there's been layoffs. But they never talk about the hirings they did, which we did. We showed you the chart that they hired 30,000 new employees, and then they fired 15,000 of the 30,000 employees. Okay, but they hired them because of what happened with COVID, and everyone was also, hiring on a craze, right? Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, everybody. Okay, so it says, where is it? The company didn't address either of those claims, but Insider Gaming has reached out for comment for the rumors. So let's go over here. Insider Gamer rumor. The future of Xbox's software publishing as next console generation faces doubts. Okay. It has been claimed by a reliable insider that Microsoft planning... Who's the reliable insider? Who's the reliable insider? Let us be the judge of a reliable insider. Who's the insider? That Microsoft is planning some intense changes for Xbox brand in the coming months. Right? First, has been suggested that there will be a massive round of layoffs heading in quarter one of 2026. You don't need to be psychic to know that, which is hardly a leap. Okay. At the once concrete plans for the next console generation are now up in the air and might never ever materialize. Here's where I think the thing is getting miscued. Now I'm just going to read between the lines. Remember about a year and a half to 2 years ago, before we even knew about the handheld device that Microsoft was doing, and I said on this show and on GXG, I said that why would they make a handheld device? Why would they make a handheld device? I said they would make a handheld device with someone that's already making a handheld device to see how the market works and if it sells well, and then if so, maybe they'll go into their own, right, for their own console. Now, we do know they were making their own handheld console. Now, everyone's assuming that the next handheld console is the console for Microsoft. Now, Microsoft is saying that, no, we still have plans to make hardware. Everyone else is saying that their hardware is not happening. I think they're getting skewed. I think they're getting confused here. I think that Microsoft was going to make their own standard handheld device. But now, because of whatever the sales were for the ROG Ally X, Xbox Ally X, okay, whatever that was, they decided, hey, let's not go forward with our handheld device, which is not the next console that's coming out as the one-all be-all. It's just one of the things they were making in their arsenal of consoles. I don't know. This is just the way I'm reading it, okay? So when they say that they're not making future hardware anymore, there might be missing the point here of maybe they're not making the handheld anymore because the handheld's already being made by Asus. So they probably can scrap that, not waste money for it. Like I said over a year ago, why would they spend the money on that just to be the third best handheld out there or fifth best handheld out there, where they can just team up with somebody, make a handheld, get the money, make the money off the sales of the video games and whatnot. But who knows? Okay. It says the claims go on to suggest that the future of Xbox is in games publishing and not hardware, with the brand focusing on top-performing IPs within the portfolio and no longer worrying about manufacturing traditional consoles. Again, I think they're going to have consoles. I just don't think they're going to have the masses, which they're not doing now anyway, right? They've only sold, 38 million consoles? But yet they have 35 million people that own, right, that are playing Game Pass in some way, shape, or form, if it's on television, mobile phones, consoles, whatever, even past consoles on the Xbox One, right? So they're looking at those people and saying, well, how do we make more money off the people that were already there, and how do we get other people to come in, right? Again, you still need online to play your online games, unless you're playing a free-to-play game, okay? It says the claims also go to suggest that the future of Xbox game is publishing not hardware, but also the brand focusing on the top performing IPs. Before we diving in, we should also stress that it's a pinch of salt discussion. But the insider was also given a gas by The Verge Tom's Warren during the most recent episode of Xbox Era Podcast, suggesting the source known a lot for what goes on internally. Okay. Is the next Xbox critical condition right now? Okay. It says in the post surface on NeoGAF, again, I don't know why anyone's taking off NeoGAF, Sneakers SO, and also Insider, who also hinted that Xbox shifted towards third-party publishing and plans to replace the staff with AI tools, and Microsoft dropped a huge rumor regarding the future of Xbox hardware. They wrote, without going into too much of detail, because why would they go into detail? Not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming in Q1 2026, by the way, and it's going to just as massive as the last one. Some rumblings out there of Xbox coming out that are also a little hard to believe. The ramifications of the COD Game Pass gambit not working out where just starting to get properly measured. But the thing is that they also really stuck out to me was that suddenly really concerned plans for the actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air. And again, I don't know if that's the hardware, like the console, or the mobile handheld console. Again, they're not going into too much detail, so we can all just speculate whatever we want, right? But out of relatively soon, it was also one of those situations where despite folks being told, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the leap up to delivering a new console gen weren't being met. Lots of things that were also sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, apparently they were one of them that made they were learned about soon, told me all I need to know. Well, Costco, I give you guys Costco updates all the time when I go there, right? And there's just pallets full of Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, okay? And you go and there's mostly about the same. They're not flying off the shelves. None of the consoles are. But PlayStations are selling. Nintendos are selling. Xboxes weren't selling as much, right? So now all of these retailers have, like, they buy the product from Sony, from Nintendo, from Microsoft, okay? They get deals because they buy in lumps. So they get like a discount, right? If you buy this many, we'll give you this price, and this is the suggested retail price and whatnot. And that is the difference between shipped and sold. So when GameStop or anybody else gets consoles, Target, Best Buy, Target, right? They're not getting them on consignment. They're buying the actual things, putting them in the actual locations, and then that's how they sell the consoles, right? So when people say, oh, we sold 80 million units, no, they shipped 80 million units, right? They haven't sold 80 million units yet because there's still product on the shelves, okay? But who needs to know that stuff, right? Let's just say that things are selling, okay? To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing. Oh, and real quick, that's why Costco was like, these things are not moving. So what they probably did was they probably sold them to somebody else to get rid of them and said, these are not moving. They're taking up retail space, right? We could put a sofa there instead and sell it better than that. So they decided to remove Xbox from Costco, and maybe they sold it to BJ's. Maybe they sold it to Walmart. They take that shipment and ship it off to somewhere else, and then other people sell those things, and that's why you get them for a discount, right? On other sites, right? MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, okay, is what it's sold for. This is why you could always barter if you wanted to, because if they want to sell it and it's not moving, you could be like, hey, I'll take this off you if you throw in this, and they're like, all right, cool, why not? Okay. To sum it up in the future, Xbox's software publishing with a significantly honed-in focus on profitable IPs. COD, WoW, Minecraft, Candy Crush, Forza Horizon. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point entry subscription for cloud access, which will continue to drive the price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done with that just yet either. Of course not. Of course not. Because if people will pay $30 a month, what are they willing to pay? If someone's willing to pay $5 for horse armor, if someone's willing to pay $10 for horse armor, someone's willing to pay $15 and $20 and $30 and $100 and $250 for a cosmetic, what do you think they're going to do? Right? The few ruin it for the rest of us. Okay, just putting it out there. If you're paying $500 for a microtransaction skin, guess what? You're going to get more $500 microtransaction skins. If you pay a price, that's what the market wants. The market's like, hey, 20% make 80%, so we're going to keep it exactly there. Exactly, Jason. King Kong gloves. If you're paying $80 for monkey gloves, guess what's happening? They're going to put more $80 whatever in there in the store because they know people will pay for it. People make fun of it. They're like, who's going to buy this? And then they go buy it. Okay. So it says maybe some OEM thing. Well, they'll take up the Xbox name, but given that there's clearly a collapse in my favorable mind share, that faith in the said brand, I'm not even sure that the third-party OEM is going to want to have an Xbox console by the time Microsoft is done with either with the division. It says, while the incoming layoffs might be inevitable at this point, more interesting points of the Sneakers SO talks about referred to the decline of the next generation of Xbox hardware. Look, there's a decline not in just Xbox hardware. There is a decline overall of console hardware. People keep fighting me on this, okay? There's been data proven me correct, okay? Less people are buying consoles, okay? There's way more people playing video games across everything than just consoles. And again, the same people that are buying a PlayStation are buying a Nintendo. The same people that buy a Nintendo are buying, there's crossover, right? How many of you own multiple systems? Okay, we have a very small audience here. I'm sure majority of you had or have multiple consoles across the board, okay? And you probably sold them now because you're like, nothing's really coming out this console generation. I could just wait and play it on my PC, okay? Following the recent Game Pass scandal that saw a massive price hike, pissed off players worldwide, Microsoft finds itself in a fragile spot with the Xbox brand. As Speaker SO points out that Costco no longer sells Xbox consoles. That has nothing to do with the rise of what they're doing. It just happens that they're getting rid of it because they're like, yeah, I would assume that Costco sees that they don't need a console anymore and these are just dead weight, right? So they're like, again, store floor space is profit missing. If these things are not moving, they need to bring something in that will move. Okay. The summing up of the Sneakers statement is something that also should concern Xbox fans everywhere, as it suggests that more price hikes are incoming for Microsoft Zero in the cloud gaming and focus on more profitable IPs like Call of Duty, Minecraft, and Forza. The rumor ends with a little conjecture with suggesting that even the OEM manufacturer wouldn't want to take up the Xbox brand, which is also what Asus did recently with the ROG Xbox Ally series. Again, go away from with the understanding that this is a rumor and such. It's just shouldn't be taken as gospel. Of course not. Okay. Of course not. We just have conversations here. And then there's just one more, which I think is the same, right? Plans are canceled. Let me see if this is the exact same. Recent update. Microsoft has provided a following statement echoing the previous report. We are actively investigating the future first-party consoles and device designed, engineered, and built by Xbox for more details. Right, so there you go. So they're basically just saying that, yeah, we're not canceling. Right, they literally just did a deal with AMD to put AMD in their systems going forward. They want as many opportunities to get the cloud, right? To get the cloud or get the system, to get people out there, right? If you're a person, if you like music, right? There's some people out there that just love music, right? They might be such a fan of music that when an artist comes out, they buy their vinyl. They'll buy it on cassette. There's still cassettes out there, right? They buy it on DVD. I'm sorry, CD, and they get the digital copy. Okay, they might buy multiple versions of it because they like the sound quality of vinyl, right? For everybody else, vinyl is these big records, right? These big things. Okay, that majority of the people do not buy records. But why does the artist, the publisher, the individual that makes their song put it on a record? Because the record is still being sold to the people that want the record. Now, are the artists really just milking the fans that want the record, that want the digital, that want the variant covers. I guess you could say that. But the people that are buying that don't feel like they're being milked because they're a fan of that thing. Okay? Now, so why would it go for anything else? Right? Variant covers of comic books, variant covers is because obviously the price is much cheaper than the other things. But if someone likes cosmetics, they're going to keep buying the cosmetics. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Right? That's what they'll tell you. They'll defend themselves by, well, if you don't like it, then don't buy it. Right? Well, people like vinyl, so they buy the vinyl because it sounds great. But the masses are not buying vinyl. If someone said, oh, vinyl's still super, super popular like everybody else, no, it's not. Okay? But there are people buying vinyl. So are there people going to be buying consoles? Yes. They're still going to make consoles, but there's just not going to be a huge market for it. And when they do, okay, just like physical copies of a game, limited run games, okay, they're like, hey, people want these hard copies. So they make a small run of these hard copies and they sell them. Instead of making millions of copies and then sit on a shelf and no one picks them up, they make a small quantity and say, hey, do you want these? And then they sell those. And if they sell out, then they go, hey, maybe we should make more. Instead of making, hey, let's mass produce 70 million consoles and we only sell 30, what are we going to do with the other 70 million consoles? Right? They put them in a warehouse. They have to sit there. They have to pay for them. Right? They have to pay for storage. Right? They got to pay them now to come into the country when they make the things. Okay, so they're like, let's just make a limited quantity. Whoever's interested in it buys it. Look what they just did with the ROG Ally. Right? Do you think they made 10 million versions of that? No, they probably made a small run of 2 million. Right? And they probably sold 250,000 to a million copies of it. Right? That's why they flew off the shelves. Okay, because they didn't make a dramatic amount of these because they know that why put it out there? And they're not losing money off of them. They're raising the price because that's the money they need to make back to be profitable off the things because they're not making multi-millions of them. They need to raise the price of what it is. Now, you don't have to buy it. I don't have to buy it. But $1,000, guess what? People bought it. So that signals to people that 20% make 80% of the profit for them. And they go, well, 20% of the fans bought our ROG Ally X. 20% of the people bought our vinyl CD. 20% of the people bought our $500 microtransaction. Whatever it is, that's what they look at and they go, that's the market. We don't need all of these people to buy this for this price. We only need a small amount of people to buy this. Again, I talked about this last week with Sarge on GXG and in our morning show. The people that are canceling their Game Pass right now, Microsoft has already did the numbers. They know there's backlash for this. Right? This is exactly why, in the marketing reason, they didn't announce it weeks in advance. They just said October 1st, here's our new stuff. People are like, when are they gonna back it down? They ain't backing down. There's posters everywhere. Okay? There's advertisements kicking you in the face of this is the new plan. This is it. This is it. They're not backing down. They're not gonna go back to $20. Okay. This is exactly what they wanted to do. They know the backlash. They know how many people are gonna back off or cancel, and they're like, okay. How many people are going to lose? How many people are going to stay? How many of those people cover the people that left? They know this. And then all the new people that come in and go, oh, well, Fortnite's there? Now, you see, we look at it is, I don't, the Ubisoft Plus Classic doesn't interest me at all. Okay? Doesn't interest me at all. Because I either owned all the Assassin's Creed or played all the Assassin's Creed, and I don't really need it. Okay? But somebody else out there is like, oh my God, I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creeds. I don't want to go out and buy all of them. So I'm just going to pay $30 and see how many I can play, right? Another thing is, a lot of people think that $30, they're buying that all year. Some people don't have that time. So someone might just buy $30 for the month. 1 month. They might play as many games as possible, right? Each their own, because, again, me and Sarge always talk about this. Everyone has the same time. Not everyone has the same money, but everyone has the same time, okay? And you don't have time to play all these games, okay? So a lot of people look at the streaming services as, well, there's too much money, not enough time to play those games. So why would I pay $30 a month to play Call of Duty for the next 6 months? You wouldn't, right? That'd be stupid. If you're only playing one game of Call of Duty and you have to pay $30 a month to access Call of Duty, well, guess what? You're an idiot for paying $30 a month for 6 months because now you just well overpriced yourself. So if you want Call of Duty so bad and that's all you want to play, guess what? You're going to buy it. You're going to buy it, right? So they know exactly what they're doing. A lot of people are going to push back, but it doesn't matter because they know where they're going and they know how people are. People will forget about this in literally a month. A month. Most people will be like, what were we mad about? Okay. And they might get back to Game Pass. They might not. They might go somewhere else, right? Other people are like, I'll show them. I'm not going to pay $30. I'm going to pay full price of $80. And they'll be like, okay, thanks, right? Make the problem, sell the solution. If you don't like the solution, there's different plans, right? I didn't want to pay Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws. I didn't want to pay $90, $120 for that. So what I do? I paid $18. Played it for a month, dropped Ubisoft Plus. Thank you. Right? Played the full game, paid 50 hours, done. $18. But guess what I didn't do? All right? I didn't have time to play the other things that I was paying for. I didn't have time to watch Netflix. I didn't have time to play or to watch Amazon Prime. I didn't have time to play Game Pass because I was playing 50, 60 hours of Star Wars Outlaws on Ubisoft Plus for $18. I just find it, I don't know. I just find it weird. What's going on, Mo? Ron says, Xbox is done with this gen. Why is the story with Costco? Yeah, I don't understand. Like, they think that this data point, Ron, is because of this. It's not. It's literally 5 years. They weren't moving. And they're like, you know what? Let's just move on. Retail space is very expensive. Every square foot inside of a store is planned out, right? They're like, well, if we're not making enough money here, we need to get rid of this product and come in with something else. Ron says, I still buy vinyl, even though I have Spotify. Vinyl's great. People love the vinyl. But we're not talking about mass market here. Starfield Guy says, bought the Xbox ROG Ally X and buy the next-gen Xbox 2 or any third-party version of the Xbox console, which is the point, is a PC with a controller. Roic says, unless I have a Cracker Barrel a level backlash, they're not going to backtrack. I don't even think they care if there's a backlash. Remember when the backlash of people didn't want to pay the subscription model, Roic, for Office, Microsoft Office 365? When they went from where you purchased it to a subscription model, and everyone's like, I ain't buying that. I ain't doing a subscription model. Let me tell you, plenty of people pay the subscription model for Office 365. Roadkill says, parents don't want to have a $360 bill a year for their kids' video game system. Your crazy people are going to leave in droves. And they also ain't coming back to Xbox. That's a pile of dog poop. I don't think you're thinking too clearly, Roadkill. One, you're talking for parents, right? You're talking for parents, and yet you're not a parent. Am I correct? I don't think you're a parent. So parents are looking for deals, okay? And if I have to buy a $700 box, PlayStation or Microsoft in general, that's the problem, right? Where if I already have a television set that I got for $300 and people watch television, they watch Netflix and whatever else they're doing, and they have that in the house, and all I have to do is buy a $40 to $60 controller and then pay the $240 to $360 because you can still buy the $20 cards. You can have a system and play your video games for your kids, and you're saving money. Starfield says, at the end of the day, Microsoft have all the data. For all we know, 10 million people play Fortnite on Xbox. They wouldn't add it if they didn't think people would also play it. That's actually another great point, Starfield. Fortnite does absolutely nothing for me, that tier for Ultimate, right? But I talked about it on stream. I was like, oh, well, that because of the crew, because of my situation, I said if my son gets straight A's, I would get him the crew. Well, if I don't get the crew for him through Xbox, I have to pay $12 on Epic, which is paying $2 more. Well, $2 more for 12 months, if we kept it for 12 months, an additional, right, $24. Okay? So it's like, well, I would save $24 if I just use Game Pass, but I can't use Game Pass because his account's not linked to mine. So there's like a problem there, right? I don't like the fact that Game Pass is putting stuff into into the tier that I don't get to choose, right? Like, it'd be better for me if, like, well, you know what? I don't want to use Fortnite, but let me use something else instead. Like, let me move my World of Warcraft account over or something. You know what I mean? Like, if you're giving me this $10 thing, let me choose another thing. right? But they don't want to do that, right? So they're just forcing you to do it. And they know a lot of people play Fortnite. A lot of people play Fortnite, especially Fortnite's free. Fortnite's free. You don't even need Game Pass to play Fortnite. Right? Think about that. You don't even need Game Pass to play Fortnite because all you need is an internet connection, but you don't need Game Pass, right? You don't need to pay for the internet to play Fortnite because it's free to play and you're allowed to play it. But now you're paying for Game Pass to get the week stuff, to get $10 worth of stuff from Fortnite. Right? There's like 300 million people playing that game at all times. Ron says there is a $15 game plan. Yeah, there's a $17 one for PC only. There's also a $10 one for like 50 games or whatever it is. Jack says A2, when Game Pass went up to $30, they either went down a tier or outright canceled, and they did the value. But they said that they also got this from our feedback who asked for Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Classic. Somebody did. It all started with one parent going, man, I wish Fortnite Crew was on this thing so I didn't have to pay 2 different bills. Right? And then someone else was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then 20% were like, yeah, that's a good idea. And Microsoft's like, look, 20% want to pay us 80%. So let's put that in the system. Roadkill says Xbox is not making a new console either. Well, that's false, isn't it? Asus ROG Ally Xbox X, they teamed up with somebody. That's a new system. So that's false. Windows says, yes, I don't like the price hike and not defending it. But at the same time, like you said, people just think they don't have to use it for the extra things, but what everything else is just for you. Parents just bought their kids a $2,000 iPhone, though. Very true, Ron. Very true. If you have a PlayStation, yeah, playing on your television, you can't act like that's playing on a native console. Playing off your television sucks ass. That's for you to decide because you are a gamer and been gaming all these years. A 7-year-old that has never played, maybe doesn't own a console, and all they know is playing off their iPad or the cloud. That's what they know. See, you're looking from an aspect of, I don't want this because this is worse than what I got. They're looking at it as, this is amazing. Right? You probably don't watch full-length feature films on your phone, but you probably sit there for 3 hours watching and scrolling through YouTube videos and stuff. Right? Well, they'll watch full-length feature films on their mobile phone. They'll watch full-length feature films on a tablet. They'll play full-on video games on a small screen. If Fortnite was Marvel, every time I keep up UTGP, yep. Just give me a $10 gift card, use on my account. That's another great thing, right? If you don't want to use this thing, you have $10 gift card or whatever. That might be something, Luke. All right? That's basically what I did with the points that I got. The points I got, I would get a gift card and then use that gift card on something else. Mokoki says, do you think that Microsoft also paid Epic and Ubisoft to put those services on Game Pass, kind of like they pay for day one exclusives? I would assume that they had some sort of deal that they paid Epic for. But at the same time, I think Ubisoft, they probably did a negotiation. I'm just speculating here, and I'll give you the reason why, Mokoki. Remember that Ubisoft is in control of the online stuff for Xbox as part of the FTC, right? They got to market and get control of all cloud stuff from Ubisoft Plus, or Ubisoft is in control of Microsoft stuff, right? So I would assume because they have some sort of deal where they gave them that, maybe in that deal, again, I don't know, don't read the fine print, don't know anything about that, but maybe when they gave them the thing over there, maybe they signed, all right, we'll let you have this, but you have to give us the classics to put on Game Pass, right? You scratch my back, I scratch yours type of thing. Who knows? Windows says, for me, all I do is I'll go down to the middle tier, and when there's a day one game, if new that I want to play, I'll do it for the time. I'll play that, and also go back down to again. Yeah, you can go back to $10, and all of a sudden, let's say you're interested in the next Fable, the next Halo, the next Gears of War, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm going to go up 1 month for the $30. Play the game, beat the game, and then go back down to $10. Now, someone will tell you, Winzo, well, you don't own the game afterwards. What about if you want to play that game again? And my thing is, well, if I beat it and put it down, and I want to buy it, I'll buy it later when it's on sale for like $10, $15. And if I paid $30 for it and played it for that month, and then it was $10, $15 3-4 years later, that's $45. You still made out. You still made out. And you played other things as well. Right? Because everyone thinks that everyone's buying it day one. Very few people, right? Millions of people buy it, don't get me wrong. But there's less people buying day one than there is people buying it over the years. Mr. Luke says, on other news, Battlefield's $600 version is only $69.99 unloaded and sold out for standard. There you go. Ron Slusher says, remember, boys, Game Pass is fully refundable anytime you wish to downgrade a tier. I mean, I'm not even saying that you have to get, what I'm saying is, what I find really funny, like I said earlier, is a lot of people that said that Game Pass was a bad deal when it was $20. They're like, stupid, you don't need it, blah, blah, blah. Now, they came out and said, I canceled it. And they also say that I'm not paying the $30. Well, you weren't paying the $20, supposedly. But now that there's $30, now you're telling me you canceled your $20. Praying subscribers to forget to go back down a tier. Extra money for them. That's every subscription model known to man. Every subscription model known to man. That's Fortnite Crew. Why buy the Battle Pass when you could pay just $2 more and get all the Battle Passes? Which makes you wonder, is the Battle Pass really worth $10 if they're giving you all the Battle Passes for $12? Windows says exactly. My answer would be we don't own the actual games anyway. Even physical, if people don't like it, they're also fooling themselves. Well, we had this argument last week. People were saying because Aku came in and said that you don't own your games. People were like saying that you do own your games. He's saying, no, you don't own your games. They can take them away from you anytime. And if the company wanted to tell you to destroy your disc, you would have to destroy your disc because of whatever. Right? I don't know about all that. All I know is that you play the game, and when you're not playing the game, it just sits on the shelf. Right? And 5 years, 10 years from now, if you still own the system that has a disk drive and you can play that game, cool, then you can still play your game. But if you had a 360 and your 360 broke and now you have the 360 discs on there, but you don't have a disk drive on your new Xbox or your PlayStation, and you don't have a disk drive on your new PlayStation, well, then you can't access those games. You own the disc. Congratulations, you own the game, but you can't put it in the new system because it doesn't have a disk drive. So then you have to buy the disk drive and you put it in the disk drive, and it might be backwards compatible, but it might not be backwards compatible, but you don't own it. At least on Steam, it's digital. You own it. And it doesn't matter if you buy a new computer or the next computer or the next computer, you still have access to your Steam library. But if they ever want to take it down, they can take it down. Enjoy the Microsoft ride with price hikes. Enjoy the industry with price hikes. Titan. Peripherals are going up in price. Games are going up in price. Subscription models are going up in price. Consoles are going up in price. Enjoy. Everybody, everywhere is going up in price. Arga says, well, Mike, that Battle Pass lasts you 3 months. However, if you have to pay Fortnite Crew every month, so you also pay for the subscription 3 times for the set price of Battle Pass. Keep that in mind and give you in-game. Oh, no, I get it, Argus. What I'm saying is one Battle Pass in Fortnite is $10. Right? You make that back with the Battle Pass itself, okay? So you can continue going on and on and on. With the Crew, you're paying $12 just on Epic, okay? And that is just for 1 month, but it does all the Battle Passes for the Rocket, for the Lego, for the band, for the regular game, all right? So it makes you think, why is the other ones worth $10 if you just buy them separately? But together, it's only $12 for all of them. Obviously, the price for the Battle Pass is overpriced, and the price for everything else is overpriced. They know they're making money hand over fist. When PlayStation Plus goes up right before GTA 6 Online, I expect the same negative energy. You're not going to get that, Ron. You're not going to get that. And I mean, you're not going to get that, meaning the negative energy. 100% they're going to raise the price when it comes out. I said it last week on GXG. I said when GTA 6 comes out and PlayStation raises their PlayStation Plus membership for the online GTA to access it or whatever and Game Pass, they're going to be at 30. PlayStation will be at like 27, 25. They'll do the exact same thing, and everyone will be fine because they feel like that is worth the value. Argus says currency each month to, I guess, try to make up for that. Literally everything is going up in price. Yeah, everything. Jason says, Ron, if they include Concord for free, it'll be worth it. What's going on, Worlds? Doesn't Crew also give you 1,000 V-Bucks? Yeah, it does. So it's actually giving you like $20 worth of stuff that you can spend in the actual thing. Again, but if you're not a Fortnite person, it's not a lot of value for you, right? But there's a lot of people that have kids that are doing Fortnite. They're very smart. They're very smart. Because if you have two kids and they have two different accounts, be like, well, I have to pay $30 for this one, and then I have to get the other one, right? I mean, it wouldn't be smart to get two $30 things. You get one $30 thing, and then you pay the $12 for the other one, right? Parents will do certain things for their children. It all depends on, case by case scenario. Luke says life is going up. Most products have gone up 100%. E.g., 4 chocolate bars was $1, and now it's £2 plus a smaller size too. Oh yeah, they shrink it like by like 20%. Yeah, those battle passes definitely aren't worth the price. That they also include other ones that also get to pay $36 per pass instead of $10, even though most people don't care about anything but the main pass. Robert Jones says, I canceled my PlayStation Plus for about 2 months. It was rough. I canceled PlayStation Plus when it was gone up to 30%. World says, I get my V-Bucks free just by playing Save the World. Doesn't matter to me. Same, Worlds. I had so much money from just logging in and doing the dailies or whatever, and I get my V-Bucks because I was originally from the very beginning. So every time I log in, my son's like, how do you have so many V-Bucks? I'm like, it's because I played early. I bought in. Titan says, yeah, everything is going up in price. I didn't agree on that. The choice is whether or not to spend it or vote with your wallet. But your money is your money. 100% Titan. So what I did, I said last week on Discord, I wanted to test out the Amazon digital, you could purchase it. So I was up until February. February was where my $20 a month ended for Game Pass. So I went to Amazon. They had a $20 3-month, $60 for, $20 a month for 3 months. So $60 on Amazon for the digital code. And I was like, well, let me see if it works. So I paid $60, $20 a month. And now I'm paid up until May, right? So now I'm paid up till May, right? So wait, February to May, March to April to May. Yeah. So May. And I paid $20. I didn't pay $30. I'm not paying $30 now until May. Well, I can still go buy the $20 cards. So let's just say I wanted to spend the money and buy the $20 cards. Okay. Well, now I'm getting all the benefits of everything that they're doing. Okay. And on top of that, now I have, I'm only paying $20 a month instead of $30 a month. Mokoki says, how much of the negative backlash do you think this is just a loud minority? How many parents are out there just paying for Game Pass for their kids and won't even notice the change? I think they'll notice a couple months in. They'll be like, wait a minute, why am I paying so much? And if you have a kid like my son, my son would be like this. Well, Dad, you're paying more, but I'm also getting Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like type of stuff. And that's a $12.99 deal. My son's a dealer, right? He's a salesman. Okay. So if you have a kid like mine, you probably like sucker the parents in. My kid's got to sucker me in with his grades. He gets the grades, then he gets the thing. If he doesn't get the grades, he doesn't get the thing. Jason says limited runs would also make Microsoft put the full game on disc. Nate says, I don't even have PlayStation Plus because I didn't really play online, but I get gameplay for my daughter. Mokoki says, would you notice, but you're an informed customer. Right. How many people are not informed? How many people are paying for so many subscription models? Matter of fact, I had to do my taxes recently, right? Late taxes or whatever. So my wife said, well, get your stuff together. So I looked back what I was paying for last year, and I was paying for a bunch of little $5 here, $3 here, $5. And I looked at all this stuff. I was like, what am I doing? I'm not even paying for all this stuff anymore. Like, I'm not even using this stuff anymore. I canceled like 6 or 7 subscription models. So I saved like $75 from all this stuff. So that's $75 more every month for the year, from editing software to music programs and all this other stuff. I don't use any music programs anymore. I make my own music. So I don't need to listen to other people's music to put on my videos anymore. I make my own music and put it on my videos. Robert Jones says any online game you bought or brought is literally worthless unless you pay to play online. These companies have console users by the balls. 100%, Jones. Z says, I remember everybody does not play every game, but if you get a bunch of people that really invest in the 3 or 4 games that played on and spend a bunch of money on the microtransactions, they don't care. True. El Nini says, just cancel my PlayStation Plus subscription. Did you do that for a reason? El Nini, you weren't using it, or did it go up in price or something? Parents don't buy Game Pass for their kids. Kids who use Game Pass are the children of the Xbox gamers. El Nini says, with so many free-to-play multiplayer games, I don't see the point of buying online multiplayer games. I don't see the paid online. Yep. $75. So how can you buy the next AAA slot day one? That's right. Right. So now I can buy the AAA slot. Well, perfect segue, Altern, into the next story. Perfect segue into the next story. Okay. Kingmaker gets surprise delay a week before release. Now, I'm not saying Kingmaker's a AAA game, right? But Kingmaker, we were pretty interested in this, right? We were interested in this game. We were interested in this game because they were hyping it up. They were showing it. We watched Force Gaming say, hey, looks really good. This looks interesting. We watched the in-depth type of thing. They were promoting it and pushing it and saying, hey, we have much more depth in this game. Or did they? Right? If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay? You can do super chats and stuff. It helps us out here on this channel. I do this every day, Monday through Thursday, like I said. We do podcasts on Thursday nights. We do another podcast called Chatting With when I have guests. We also do gameplay over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. And we also do music, which is over on all music platforms, Spotify, Anchor.fm, Pandora, iTunes. So anywhere you go, right? All the links are in the description down below, where you can find all the news stories down below as well. So imagine to my surprise, chat, right? And this is why I say don't buy games day one. Because these guys, which we were excited about, but now they go into the other segment of, I don't trust you now because you were going to sell us a game, even though it was early access, you were going to sell us a game that was broke, buggy, and unfinished. Okay? You were going to sell us a broke, buggy game that was unfinished, and you decided less than a week. Today's the 6th. It was going to release. Today's the 6th or today's the 7th? Today's the 6th. It was going to release on the 8th, and they were going to release it on PC, and everyone was going to pay it. It was one of the highest wish list games on Steam. It was up on the charts, okay? And miraculously, a week before, they're like, we're not going to release it. Borderlands did the same thing for Switch release, right? So Kingmaker, which was slated to launch on October 8th, has been indefinitely delayed, according to the team. When Kingmaker was revealed last year, it went viral for its premise, bringing guns to medieval times. The trailer, which has also over 1 million views, was enough to already earn it a film adaptation, okay? Which makes you wonder, did they do it to make a game? Or did they do it to, sell the brand? Okay. Meanwhile, indie studio Redemption Road Games and publisher Tiny Build have been working on hard to have this PC game live and up to the hype. Unfortunately, as the plan's release date got closer, the team has decided to delay it for a few reasons. Now, when do you think, right? Because I haven't read this yet. When do you think they decided when they were working on the game, right? They're like, hey, it's October. Guys, it's October. We're going to release the game. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey guys, I don't think we should release the game. Monday, they could release the game. Tuesday, they're like, I don't know if we should release the game. Right? Kingmaker delayed last minute due to ambitious, right? So it says right here, let's read this. Let me get this nice and big for everyone so you guys can all see it. Okay. Can I zoom it in? Oh, I can't zoom it in. Can I open this up in a new tab? There we go. Okay. So after much contemplation, we realized that the scheduled Kingmaker launch on October 8th will no longer be possible. We want to apologize to all the fans who are eagerly anticipating this game. We're sorry for letting you down. First of all, let's break that down, shall we? Let's break this first sentence down. One, you don't have any fans yet because your game's not out yet. Okay? You have intrigued customers that are looking at this going, hey, that game looks good. I'm a fan. Okay? But you're not a fan yet because you didn't get anything. You haven't played anything. You haven't done anything. So it says, we're sorry to let you down. Okay? Why Kingmaker is being delayed? In short, it's incredibly ambitious, uncompromising a game, and we don't want to cut any planned features for the sake of getting it out the door early. Our goal from the start has been to create something that's nothing like anything else on the market in terms of gameplay, scale, scope, and interactive. Okay? But then why did you put a date? Why did you put a date? It was early access on October 8th. It was coming out as early access. So if they wanted to make a game, uncompromising gaming, and we don't want to cut any planned features, then what was the point of putting it out early access on the 8th? If you knew, you just didn't know last week that we're not going to be able to make it. Like, you had this vision in your head. You made the game. You didn't make it. And yet, hey, let's put October 8th. We'll get there. And just days before, you decide that we're gonna cancel it for right now. So with Kingmaker, we set out to push the Unreal Engine 4 code base to absolute limits while still providing a true 60 frames per second to mid-range PCs. You know what I think has happened? Do you know what I think has happened, chat? Optimization. They saw what was happening and the backlash of Borderlands 4 and all these other things, and they went, oh shit. We can't get away with it this time, guys. We are unoptimized, and we can't put it out there. Without the need to fake frames, we are an 80% engineering team who got into the business to push technology barriers. Okay? Borderlands screwed it up for them. I'm speculating. But man, this sounds something along the lines of, well, they're getting shit on for unoptimized, and we're unoptimized, and we probably shouldn't do what we're doing. Because what was the first thing that all of us looked at? Right? Look at us. When we looked at it, we're like, that's a lot of fucking people on the game. Right? That's going to struggle because it's supposed to come out the consoles next year. Okay? Amazing. It's amazing. Right? It says we currently have tens of thousands of soldiers, each with AI pathways and rivals that's also expected for AAA third-person shooter. When you walk away from the battle, it continues to play out. Nothing is faked. We have giant 6-story castles, and every room can be entered, and every wall, floor, and ceiling destroyed. When you build a lumber mill, it's a real place that you can enter, or the enemy invades. Okay, the invasion turning into a combat area. First of all, I don't care. I don't care, right? As a gamer, when you put all that stuff in there, I don't go in there and go, oh, this is amazing. How do they make it work? No, I get in there and I'm like, why is it stuttering? Why can't I open this door? Why can't I get into this building? Right? They did all of this. They put the giant 6-story castle and every room is entered and every wall can be destroyed. They decided to do this. They decided to put all the stuff in the game. They decided they wanted to make the game. They decided that they wanted to do all of these things. We didn't. So now when they were about to come out and they're like, well, none of that's working. It's really hard, guys. It's really hard. Okay? So when you drive a car into a tree, right, you're ejected through the windshield. A tree breaks from the stumps and it rolls over whatever hapless soldiers are along the path. Every mission takes place in a massive map that each player on the server is free to explore, with or without their own personal army of thousands. We set out to do all this with a full drop in, drop out, 4-player multiplayer support, and we have. We just need a bit more time on content polish before we feel good about charging money for it. Hey, I think that's fantastic, right? Make a game, sell a game, okay? But you literally were trying to sell this game before all of this, right? They decide at the very last second, right? Drop in, drop out, 4-player support, okay? But they just need a little bit more time. Why did you put the date? Why did you announce the thing? You were trying to get the money, but something happened in the industry between your launch day and what you guys were working on, and you thought you could make a buck off the people, 20%, make it 80%, okay? You thought you could make a buck off people, and you were going to. You were going to make a buck, a boatload of bucks, okay? But first impressions, as I say all the time, are everything. And even though they were going to sell you a game, and they stopped selling the game, right? It doesn't look good on them. But now it goes back in their court, and they have time. And if this game comes out, when it comes out, not before, but when it comes out, and it is complete, and it does all the things they just said here, 6-story castle, every room, 4-player co-op, large maps, do what you want, and it runs smooth, no harm, no foul. You know why? Because now you just made a game and sold a game. You didn't try to make a broke, buggy, unfinished game and get all the money up front and then wait 6, 8, 12 months to fix it over time. So it says, so that is what we're doing now. We're making sure that everyone who buys the game is enthralled and feels like their money was well spent. We want this to be our case, whether or not it's the top of the line rig or PC that's been seeing better days. Thank you so much for all our love and support, and we hope that you're doing everything that we can to earn it. Okay? Well, you started off pretty shaky, I have to admit. Okay? Started off pretty shaky. In a statement released, Redemption Road revealed that the 5 days from October 8th released that Kingmaker would be delayed indefinitely. Okay? So we already read all that. Furthermore, the team mentions that the game runs on Unreal Engine 4 and aims to push the engine to its limits. With tens of thousands of soldiers in the game, giant castles, drop in, drop out, 4-player multiplayer. Okay? It's especially with the gameplay deep dive coming soon. All right? So again, doesn't look good. The game looks good. But they almost pulled a Cyberpunk here, guys. They almost pulled a Cyberpunk. They almost pulled what all the other game companies do. Release a game, broke, buggy, and unfinished, and then we'll fix it later after launch, after they have your hard-earned money. And in their own statement now, this is like Cyberpunk now, okay, where the guy comes out and says, we're not going to release a game, broken, buggy, and then comes out with a broken, buggy game, right? So now, they have all the power. It's back in their court. They stopped the disaster from happening. Now, if they go back, finish their game, put a new date, that date hits, and it comes out, and it's optimized, then fantastic. People will love your game. But if you come out now, after you announce all of these things, and optimization, and all the stuff that's happening, and it comes out, and it has a stuttering frame or optimization problem, performance issues, it crashes, and it just locks up computers, well then, my friend, the delay was for nothing. Because you just did the exact same thing all the other companies do. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Altern says, we can't have 1,000 NPCs that gave it a run for 20 frames per second. Got delayed this. Right. Roic says, I saw this coming. How do you show off that many mobs at once? Well, you can. But that's the first question we all said, Roic. We're like, that's a lot of guys. See how smooth it runs. Clip says, well, good. I hope it comes out in a good performance then. Right. And if it doesn't eclipse, looks even worse than before this. It goes from bad to worse if they release it and it's worse than what they say. Third, I see the plan B being other companies wanting to use the technology and they have built it into this engine. Perhaps. Maybe it was the plan. Well, they got a movie deal. They got a movie deal. They didn't even make the game yet. It's not even out. It's not even successful. But they sold the concept for a movie. Titan says, I hope it doesn't come out super downgraded. It might, because they might not be able to get it optimized correctly with all the guys. So instead of tens of thousands of guys, it's hundreds of guys. Eclipse says, sorry, but if people can forgive Baldur's Gate 3 for early access, and there's only one chapter the whole time for $60, then give them a break. That was 2 years in the making, and it was early access. They decided to cancel the game, Eclipse. They decided right before launch 5 days that they were going to stop it. I don't have to give them a break. I don't have to give them a break. Nobody cares for the excuses. Make a game, sell a game, Water says. They almost pulled a Borderlands 4. Are the Kingmaker devs going to tell me that the code of my own engine and the game doesn't run on my PC? Perhaps. Maybe. Crowd says, remember this, release date, when it's finished. Yeah, I don't understand why people keep putting dates. Okay, now, here's another story. You ready? It's going to be ready 1 year from now. Okay, 1 year from now. But Grand Theft Auto is going to move from May to October. Okay, and then Kingmaker is going to come out in October. And when it fails miserably, they're going to be like, well, it's just because games, GTA came out and it ruined us. Like, hey, you did this. Nobody else did this. You did this. Altern says, so there is no moving out of Helldivers 2 anytime soon. Speaking of Helldivers, I don't know what the fuck happened this past week, but level 6s are absurd. Absurd. This weekend, okay, I had to fight to get my super samples, right? Had to fight tooth and nail, right? To try to get the super samples, to get 20 of them so I could upgrade my last piece. I did it. But I don't know what the hell's happening. I played on 4 with a friend, okay? And it was like a walk in the park. I was like, oh, this is super easy. We went to 6, and it felt like a 9, okay? Just ship after ship, 12 Hulks, walkers. I'm like, what's happening? Just appearing. They're just appearing in front of you. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it right now because I'm super like we're dying for the stupidest things. Okay. I'm being attacked because they just appear. I'm okay. There's a lot of guys. If I could see a ship come in and then drop them off and I can shoot them, cool. Right. But if I can't see a ship come in and all of a sudden they're just on the floor and they just appear in front of me, a whole group, that's a problem. That's a problem. You guys are still on baby difficulty? Sure. My dick is smaller than yours, Jason. Still the game is broke. I don't know what to tell you. Eclipse says, I was so proud of myself. I did a level 5, everything on the map by myself. That plant is done. Yeah. We cleared the map. We cleared the map. And all of a sudden they still appear in droves. Last night, I went to just run on the automaton's planet just to run around to get super credits and stuff on Trivial. I went to extract, okay? And I've never in my life since I've played, and I have over 240 hours between PC and console. I've never had so much difficulty trying to extract before in my entire life on Trivial. I was like, I'll just go get the stuff and I'll just extract. Ship after ship, wave after wave. I was like, what is happening? I did 10s in my sleep, get good 30. I don't need to get good. They need to fucking fix their game. The game has been melting ever since they said it was going to take 60 days to fix the game. Oh, that's another thing. People come in, and if they come in and they're just waves and waves of people, they just leave. I'm like, what the hell's happening? I had a 123 level guy come in. He was there for 3 seconds. Was like, no, I'm out. He died 3 times. When you throw people in, it throws them like super far away. It drops them in the middle of the thing. The extraction points are in the middle of bases. Guys, once you kill them, they're just appearing. Waves of ships are coming in, and when the ships come in, they're like glitching out, so they'll like go down like this and come up, and they'll start swaying and stuff like this. It's like the strangest thing. There's other times where the ships come in and they don't even lower. They're like super sky high, and they're just dropping the bots or the tanks from like, I don't know, 1,000 feet. Ray says, I remember the Helldivers 2 nerfed era. It was nearly impossible to make a solo run on lower levels. Well, apparently, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're doing something on an Automaton planet. I even went to a low-level one just to run. I just wanted to get super credits. That's all I was doing to do. It's the squids at the look of it. So, I don't know what's happening with that game. All right, let's get rid of the Microsoft stories. Let's get rid of the Kingmaker stories. And now we have... the last story. Lost. Call of Duty sales has reportedly cost Microsoft millions. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay. So, obviously, Microsoft's world is falling. Game Pass is dead. Microsoft is dead. Nadella is moving to a different position. They're bringing another CEO in. Call of Duty's dead. It's never going to make money ever again. Right? So these are the things we're talking about today, right? So lost Call of Duty sales has reportedly cost Microsoft millions. Okay, a new report shows that Microsoft's decision to put Call of Duty on Game Pass has cost it hundreds of millions of dollars. Earlier this week, Xbox announced a price hike for Game Pass holders, bringing Ultimate up to $19.99 to $29.99. Other subscriptions also saw increased pricing, causing many fans to get furious. Unfortunately, its effects have spread to the closed beta for Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is not too popular. Within Microsoft, within the headlines of a new report from Bloomberg, may give some insight of the situation, and it's not pretty. Okay, Microsoft putting Call of Duty on Game Pass reportedly results in $300 million in lost revenue. Okay, how is that possible? Is it just on Xbox, or is that people on PlayStation are refusing to buy the game because of the subscription model went up? I'm a little confused. 300 million. How much is Call of Duty? How much is Call of Duty? Is it 70 or 80? Is it 70 or 80? Hold on, 300 million. Is it 70 bucks? $300 million. Yeah. So they lost 4.2 million copies sold is what they're saying, right? That's what they're saying. 70 for now. So they're saying they've lost 4.2 million sales on Xbox. That's where the 300 million comes from if it's $70, right? So I don't know how they're figuring that out or what they're doing, but that's the case, right? 300 million in lost revenue, meaning they thought 4.2 million people were going to buy it and play it just on Xbox. Okay, that are not buying it anymore. All right, so Microsoft's Xbox division surprised many video game enthusiasts this week when the company announced that 50% a price hike to $30 a month for the highest level tier in Game Pass subscription service. Okay, in a report from Bloomberg, the outlet talked to current and former workers at Microsoft about Activision deal and the Game Pass hike. One interviewee, who was remained unnamed, said that last year in total, Xbox gave up around $300 million in sales of Call of Duty on console and PC. While reports on Black Ops 6 sales being positive came out, Bloomberg brings up IGN discovered that 86% of it was due to PlayStation players buying it. Furthermore, many of the interviewees Bloomberg talked to said that how Game Pass is detriment to Microsoft costing more than it should. The loss of $300 million for Microsoft is a huge hit, especially since it seemed like a good deal. Now, Activision, multi-billion-dollar franchise in Call of Duty, likely seemed like the perfect acquisition for Xbox. Unfortunately, it has also seen from the massive layoffs and now Game Pass price increase. It cost the company more than it liked, and the situation only looks worsened as many fans have already canceled their subscription and put Xbox behind it despite the impressive upcoming lineup with Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2, and it also may take some time before Microsoft gets back up, if ever. Okay, well, I have a question for you. So they're not talking about the new Call of Duty. They're talking about the old Call of Duty from last year. Now, I have a question. Now, I get it, right? So let's just say they didn't sell the 4.2 million copies to Xbox fans, and they only paid the amount for Game Pass for $20 or whatever it was to play the game last year. Like, we tried the single player. I put it down, didn't even finish the campaign because I hate Call of Duty now. So they say they lose $300 million. If they lost $300 million, did they go back and check how much money that the PlayStation people bought the game for? Like, how many people paid for the $120 version? How many people bought a microtransaction in the game? How many people bought Beavis and Butthead? How many people paid $80 for Monkey Gloves? How many people bought all this other stuff in the Call of Duty brand for Warzone, the game itself, and all these other things? Are they going to say that number? Because I don't mind that they tell us that they've lost money and potentially $4.2 million in sales, right? Actual copies sold from Xbox. But do they tell you how many people paid full price? Do they tell you how many people paid full price or paid on Game Pass and also bought microtransactions? Do they tell you these numbers? I don't think they do. So this is why I hate when they say stuff like this, because they're only giving you a specific statement to have some sort of narrative of what they're doing. But they're not telling you that Call of Duty still made billions of dollars in profit. Right now, I tell you that they lost $300 million. So instead of making $1.3 billion, they should have made $1.6 billion. Right? You see what I'm saying? So they lost $300 million, even though they made a crap ton of money. Because remember, Microsoft didn't own Activision before, so they never made $1.6 billion from Call of Duty. They only made the 30% from Activision, Call of Duty, whatever they sold on their system. But now they make all of the money from all of the platforms. And now they made I'm just making up a number right now, $1.6 billion, and that's the money that Microsoft made. So instead, they're saying that they lost out on $300 million, but really they gained $1.1 million. You see what I'm saying? This is what I don't like about when articles say this. One, it's always an anonymous guy telling you stuff, and they lost $300 million, but did they tell you what the microtransactions sold for? Let's see if we can look it up. Let's see if we can look it up. On Call of Duty, Call of Duty MTXs per year. Let's see. Here's a breakdown of factors influencing. How many Call of Duty? No, I need microtransactions. It doesn't know what I'm talking about. Microtrans action per year. Yeah, Activision. Yeah. Yeah. So Activision reported $5.38 billion in microtransaction revenue for 2022 from its live service titles, including Call of Duty, and $5.1 billion in 2021, according to the reports from Tweaktown and Statista. Now, obviously, this is 2022. We don't know the 2023, 2024, and now 2025 because Microsoft doesn't share that information. Okay, so let's just take this as face value. Okay, because it went from 4.6 to 5.1 to 5.3. So let's say it went down. Let's say it went down from 5.38 to 4.6. Okay, so they lost, let's say, $800 million. Okay. Microsoft lost $800 million from when Activision had it to when Xbox has it or Microsoft has it. So let's say it only made $4 billion. That's $3.7 billion more than they made before they owned Activision from Call of Duty, from microtransactions, from the game prices and stuff like that. So I would love to know the person that said that they lost $300 million. They could have lost $300 million. But again, to say that you lost, just show us the numbers. Show us the numbers. If you're going to say this, then you have to show us numbers, but they can't show us numbers. So them saying what they're saying and what I'm saying is absolutely nothing because there's no proof if they actually lost $300 million in sales, if they didn't sell 4.2 million copies, or they lost 4.2 million copies, which equals $300 million, or if they lost the $4.2 million, or I'm sorry, the 4.2 million sales, but they didn't make that up right? They didn't make that up in microtransactions from the people that were actually already spending money on the $80 Monkey Glove, or the Beavis and Butthead, or the Snoop Dogg, or the Jay and Silent Bob, or the Ninja Turtles, or whatever else, right? I don't know. Like, if you're going to say something, you got to make sure that you say all the things, not just the thing that you wanted to say. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below, right? Oh, actually, are we even? Yeah, we're done with the article, right? Let me know what you guys think, right? Obviously, right now, it's and I hate Call of Duty. Hate Call of Duty, right? Right now, we're in the state of let's talk shit about Call of Duty, right? That's my state I'm always in, okay? But now, it's cool to hate Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty is bad. Call of Duty is terrible. They're the Madden football that everyone says now, right? They're copy pasta. They've lost their identity. All things that I've said for, I don't know, 3 to 4 years now. Okay, maybe even longer for Call of Duty. Now everyone else is calling them that, and they just shit on top of other shit. But yet they're still making $5 billion, $4 billion. I don't know if you know this, but if I didn't own the company and I wasn't making $4 billion, and now I bought the company, and now I'm making $4 billion, I'm not losing money. I'm making money that I wasn't making before. But I don't know. Hal says, yeah, I've heard that Call of Duty is terrible, but I don't know the reason. I'll tell you why I think it's terrible. They've lost their identity. I don't like what Call of Duty has turned into. I don't like that there's a battle royale in it. I don't like that they put zombies in it. I don't like that it went away from the warfare back in the old days. That's why I think Call of Duty is bad. While everyone else thinks Call of Duty is bad, they're like, I don't like the microtransactions, but you're the reason the microtransactions are in the game, right? You're the reason microtransactions are in the game. Argus says, not going to lie, I played Call of Duty Black Ops 7 beta. Movement feels very good and smooth, and the graphics look pretty good. I like the maps, too. I'll say, it's the very least, it's better than Black Ops 6. I won't play it, Argus. This is the same MO all the time, right? I find it very odd. Very odd. Because even that Microsoft owns this, Microsoft still hasn't got their hands on what Call of Duty is. You understand what I'm saying? They've only owned Activision for 2 years. It takes 3 to 5 years to make a game. 3 to 5 years to make a game. So Call of Duty 2027 might be the first game that Microsoft, since they owned it, from start to finish. Right? So everyone that's hating on Call of Duty and says that Call of Duty is bad because of Microsoft hasn't even touched it yet. This is just Activision Blizzard working on Call of Duty the last couple of years, because they have 4 studios working on it, and it takes 3 to 5 years, right? And they're in rotation as they go through. The kids play COD every year. It won't go anywhere. Same with NBA 2K series and Madden. Sucks, but it is what it is, right? 100%. Argus says, I'm going to get it on Game Pass, so if I play it, I won't be buying it anyway. It's just very strange to me that people, all of a sudden, it's like smelling salt went underneath their noses, and they're like, what the hell am I playing? What is this crap? Call of Duty's been the exact same for the last 15 years. 15 years. It's been the exact same. So much so, they're literally regurgitating the stuff that was back in the early 2000s. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, yeah, Call of Duty, it's it. Microsoft ruined it. It's like, they haven't even touched it yet. They're still making the same games that they were making before they got their hands on it. If you plan on playing it frequently throughout the year, if you're going to have 5 sessions throughout the next year, then probably not. Yeah, if you're going to pay, if you buy the game in the 1 month and you play the campaign, you play the multiplayer for that month, and then you put it down, $30 is fine. You're never going to go back to it. Doesn't matter if you own it or not, because you're never going to go back to that fucking game anyway, right? But if you're going to play it all the time, then buy it. If you don't want to buy it, then just rent it. It's like a lot of people think that, again, time is time, right? Time is time. Everyone thinks because you paid $30 that month, that's the only game you're allowed to play, right? I can't even tell you how many games my son. Yesterday we tried the Crew 2. We played the firefighter simulator game. We played the police simulator game. We played. There was one other game that we played. It's like 4 or 5 games, right? That was just this weekend on a Sunday. Okay, 4 or 5 games that came to Game Pass that we played. We played for like 6-7 hours yesterday. We played just different games here and there. Okay, if I never touch those games again, okay, cool, right? And if I never touch any other game for the rest of the month, then you would look at it and go, was that worth it? Maybe, maybe not. If I had to buy the firefighter game, it's like $20, $30. The police game was like $25, $30. Crew is probably like $30, $40, right? Obviously, one purchase of one of those games is the same price as the $30. Now, I'm not paying $30 yet. I'm only paying $20, okay? Up until May, as of right now, okay? So, is it worth it? For my specific circumstances, 100%. 100%. Because we played the firefighter simulator game, right? And then they have the new one, Ignite or whatever it is. It's like $50. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll buy that. Maybe I'll buy the new one. But it has like a season pass or whatever. And I'm like, why am I going to pay $50 and then wait a year? I'll just wait the year, wait for the content to come out and see if it's worth it and then purchase it afterwards, right? Everyone thinks that if you pay the money of $20, $30, whatever it is, that you're only allowed to play one game. It's not worth your time. Like everyone thinks that everyone's time is like your time, right? Some of us have more time than money. Some of us have more money than time, right? Jason says, Black Ops 7 looks awful. Same slop, new paint. That's what it is. It's Madden. It's the Madden football of first-person shooters. Remember, a console requires a $9.99 for multiplayer, $120 a year. Might as well get Game Pass. Ron's done this arc, this new arc of, right? You don't have to get the $20 the $30 version, right? You can get the $10 version. I don't know what the 50 games are. Did they come down and tell you what the 50 games are that you can actually play? Can we look that up? What is... let's see. Xbox Game Pass. Close. Good idea to close all browser windows. Okay. Well, I'll go over here then. Is there a spot that says the Game Pass in the Essential program? No, I don't want to do that. I just want to look at what is compared to the other. They don't break it down. Xbox. Oh, hold on. Here it is. Okay. I think I found it. All right. So this looks like Xbox Game Pass Essential, right? So this is what you get on here. War Thunder, Hades, Among Us, Asphalt, Astronomer, Warzone, which is free anyway. I don't know why that. Deep Rock Galactic is on there. Chivalry 2, Descenders, Dreamlight, Firewatch, Gears 5, Grounded, Insider, Mecha Break. But these are all... This is what I don't understand. Mecha Break's a free-to-play game. I don't need Game Pass to play that game, right? I don't need Game Pass to play Warzone. I don't need Game Pass to play Fortnite, right? State of Decay. So if you're at the lowest tier, I'm trying to look to see if there's games that. I mean, I played most of these games, so it's not really worth it for me. But there you go. There's the 50 games, right? Some of them are overlap. Oh, SnowRunners, that would be perfect. I would play that the one time, but I already own it, right? And that's the point, right? I already own SnowRunners. I don't need to play it. $10 for Elder Scrolls Online. If you pay monthly for that for $10. It's just like a regular subscription model for any other MMO. Yeah, a lot of them are free to play. I don't understand the free to play, right? Like, there's a lot of free to play games there. You don't need PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass to play those, right? Titan says free to play games padding the numbers. Do you think they really pad the numbers though, Titan? Like, because you have Game Pass, they take the number that has a person on Game Pass for that game and this game and this game and this game to pad the numbers. I don't think they pad the numbers like that. I think they pad the numbers by if you log in and play the game. Then they would say that you're an active member. I don't think they're saying that if you play Gears on Game Pass, that it's also putting a Halo Infinite number up there for you. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to prove that either. El Dente says it sounds like they're also trying to confuse people to think that they get more than they expected. Yeah, I don't think. Right, hold on. Let me ask Google. Yeah. So Warzone, right? No, you don't need Xbox Game Pass to play Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite or any other thing. So why would they put those there? I don't like that. I don't like that. That they try to look like it's more value in there, even though you don't need it. Right? That's some bullshit right there. That's what people should be in an uproar about. Putting free-to-play games on the list as something that it's more value for that service. Ray says SnowRunner is a good game. Great game. It's a great game. Wasn't a great game when it first came out. It's a fantastic game. World says Tunic, Teenage Turtles, and Grounded are the only ones I care about. Well, you could get Grounded for, what, $25, $30? That's worth it right there. The one game. Just buy it. And then you can play it forever. Well, until they shut it down. But, you know. No, you don't need to, and not many on just console. If they're in Game Pass, they can be used as Game Pass rewards. Yeah, but showing it and saying that, oh, you get to play Warzone, or you get to play Asphalt, or you get to play these games that are free to play games like Mecha Breaker, that shouldn't be involved. That's just a free to play game, Mo. That's shitty. That is shitty ad, right? That's manipulative. To make it look like those people, oh, you needed to play these things. $30 a month now, just increased cheaper on PC. Although I don't know the price on PC. It's $16 now or something like that, I believe, on PC now for Ultimate. Oh yeah, there's games on there. If you're like, seriously, if you're a person, again, if you don't have a lot of time, and let's say you're only playing Elder Scrolls Online, obviously you can buy Elder Scrolls Online. It used to be a monthly fee. But now you're paying $10 a month or whatever to play Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know if you get the extra bag space or whatnot, but anyway, if you bought Elder Scrolls Online, then you could pay the $10 to get extra bag space and whatnot. If that's the only game you're playing, and that's what you want to do, that's what you do. They say 50 plus. The plus is the free to play games. Right. Right. The 50 plus the free to play games. Yeah. They go towards like games played for the month, which gives you points. Yeah, but you only get a certain amount of points in the lowest tier anyway for the year, which they diminished anyway. Right? They're using it for value. They're not saying, "Oh, well, it gets you points." They're saying that, well, if you have this, you can play these games. Well, you don't need to play those games. You can right now, PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass, you do not need to play for Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, the finals? What's another one? Right? Warzone, right? Anything that's free to play, Apex Legends, Valorant, you don't need to pay shit for these. Think about that for a second, right? If you play any of these 5 games, that's all you play of these 5 games, you just play Marvel Rivals, you don't even need to buy a console or pay for subscription, right? You can just get a television set, play your thing, and play your games. Obviously, you don't want to play. You want internet, right? Hooked up so you can actually get actual good internet connection so you're not lagging behind. But my point is, okay, you can play Genshin Impact. You can play so many different games without ever paying Xbox or PlayStation a monthly fee to play online with this thing. Yet people still pay the $10. But that's any game you play on Xbox. I get my points by playing 33 Immortals. Own it. You don't even need Game Pass for that. Right. And that's my point, Eclipse. They're blurring the line of what you need or what you get. Right? They're trying to make it look like there's more value there than there actually is. Like, you don't... If I play that stuff, I don't even need it. Right? Especially if you're playing like Sea of Thieves and stuff. If you have Sea of Thieves, just go buy Sea of Thieves. Don't play Sea of Thieves on Game Pass. If you're playing, that's the only game you play, right? The $10 that you're spending to play Sea of Thieves every month on the lowest tier or whatever, like, actually, I don't even think that's part of that. It might be in the other tier. But anyway, right? Why pay $10 there where you could take that $10 and put it towards a game, like whatever the Plunder Pass or whatever it is, right? So certain games you shouldn't keep playing month to month if that's the only thing you're playing. Just go buy the game. Right? It's not even a full price game. It's like $40. You won't get it if it isn't in Game Pass. I understand that. What I'm saying though, Mo, is that they're showing you that it's a value that you get Warzone, but you don't need Game Pass to get Warzone. And again, if I'm playing Warzone, I don't need to get points to pay $10. Your $10 is paying for the thing, not your point system. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I'm paying $10, I have to play games on Game Pass to get the percentage of points that I'm getting and earning every month, which is the max of $25 for the year or whatever the fuck it is. Okay? But really, it's just paying the $10 a month. See if these isn't an essential. My point is, Luke, you could just buy Sea of Thieves. Like, don't pay $15 a month to play just Sea of Thieves, is what I'm saying. Right? Like, don't buy it. Even if it's on Game Pass at the $10 essential, you don't need to. If you're gonna play Sea of Thieves, don't pay $10 a month. Just go buy the game. Subscription models make no sense if you're playing one game. 0 cents. Right. Right. You buy the game, you pay $10, and you're playing online. That's what you're paying for, because you have to pay for that game to be online. If you're playing one game, if you're playing just a Warzone, or if you're playing just Sea of Thieves, or if you're just playing like every month, you're paying $360 to $120 a month or for the year just to play that one game. Don't do that. Just buy the game. Nate says Ghost of Yotei is pretty good so far. I'm not even doing the main story yet, just doing the bounties. I hear it's good. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up. Did you guys see this before we end? I'll talk for like 10 more minutes. In general, in our Discord, I thought this was funny, right? Because Waterbear posted a link to, or a picture of the Game of the Year type of shit. Okay, so this is the Golden Joystick Awards. Okay, Golden Joystick Awards. And look at some of the things that they have for, right? So this is like the year award show for them. Okay. Best Narrative, Expedition 33, Silent Hill F, Blue Point, Mafia the Old Country, Lost Records, Bloomin' Range, and 100 Line Last Defense Academy, right? Best Narrative. Best Multiplayer Game, Battlefield 6, Peak, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Split Fiction, Mario Kart World, and Rematch. Okay. Best Visual Design, Death Stranding 2, Clair Obscur, Midnight's Walk, Ghost of Yotei, Swords of the Sea, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you haven't seen it yet, right? If you haven't seen it yet, can you see that this is just one big advertisement for some of the other games out there? You know what I mean? Not a player says 30. You know you can still get Game Pass Essential at major retailers for $75 for 12 months. Yes, I do. And you can also get the Ultimate Game Pass for $20. Yeah. Best Indie Game. Blueprints, Citizen Sleeper 2, Wonder Stop, Skin Deep, Desploit, Hurting, Antibiotic Factor, Baby Steps, Caves of Quad, and Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I love Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Fantastic game. Best Independent Game, Self-Published, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Hades 2, Swords of the Sea, Peak, Keep Driving, Spilled, Lonely Mountain, Snow Raiders, Delta Runes, Promise Mascot Agency, and Consume Me. Still Playing Award. This category makes me laugh because there's games on here that have been here for a decade. They're still up here. Like, Still Playing Award, I feel like, I don't know. Like, for instance, Minecraft, it's been around for 15 years, right? Satisfactory's been around for a long time. Not Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, Apex Legends, GTA Online, Warframe, right? It's just crazy to see that a lot of these games are still there. And obviously, GTA Online will probably make it. I think Helldivers, I don't know. Still Playing Around, Award Mobile. I don't give a shit about the mobile. Best Remake, Remaster, Metal Gear Solid, Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Trails of the Sky, First Chapter, Talos Principle, Reawakened, Gears of War Reloaded, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Studio of the Year. Now, I would have to look up why these studios are Studios of the Year. And I'm a little confused here because Studio of the Year, Oblivion would have to be up there. I'm sorry, Obsidian, not Oblivion. Obsidian would have to be up there, right? What other studio released 3 games in 1 year? In a 12-month cycle, Obsidian has released 3 games. Right? Outer Worlds 2, Grounded 2, and what was the what's the other one? Oh, Avowed. Okay. 3 studios, and yet they're not here. It's kind of strange. Right? Like, come on. What do these guys make? 1 game? Yeah, I don't understand how it's Studio of the Year. Right? At least put the game studio that made 3 games. Right? Best Expansion, Indiana Jones, Lies of P, No Man's Sky, Adam Falls Story Expansion, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Still Wakes the Deep. Okay. Best Audio Design, Ghost of Yotei, Battlefield 6, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, 2 Point Museum, and Chronos: The New Dawn. Best original score: Clair Obscur, South of Midnight, Silent Hill F, Eric Holmes: The Stolen Dream, Deltarune, and Sword of the Sea. Best lead actor: Jennifer English in Obscure Expedition 33, Troy Baker, Indiana Jones. He should win. I don't know. That's just my point or choice. You have the from Deliverance 2, you have from The Altars, you have from Ghost of Yotei, and you have South of Midnight. Best supporting actor: Troy Baker for Death Stranding 2, Jim High for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Ben Starr for Expedition 33, Lucy Griffins for The Stolen Dream, Logan Cunningham for Hades 2, and Marios Gavarols for Indiana Jones: The Great Circle for Emmerich. Okay. PC Game of the Year: Hollow Knight Silksong, The Altars, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Peak, Antibiotic Factor, and Dune Awakening. Console Game of the Year: this is a weird one. Are you ready for this one, guys? Okay. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Monster Hunter Wilds, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding on the Beach, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Mario Kart Worlds. In their console game of the year, they have 2 kart racing games. Get out of here. 2 kart racing games for game of the year for console. Where the hell is Expedition 33? What are we talking about here? You're telling me Sonic Racing beat Expedition 33? Get the fuck out of here. Best Early Access: Grounded 2, Schedule 1, Nine Kings, Repo, Skate, and White Knuckle. Titan says, judges like karts. What can I say? Yeah. Like, what are we talking about, Titan? 2 kart racing games? Best hardware: Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. What the fuck are we doing here with these Elgato Facecam 4K, Razer, it's so stupid. Best adaptation: Devil May Cry Netflix, Arcane Season 2 Netflix, Last of Us Season 2 HBO, Minecraft movie Warner Brothers, Secret Level Prime Video, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Paramount Pictures. Best trailer: Grand Theft Auto 6 Trailer 2, Battlefield 6 live action trailer. What are we talking? What are we doing? What are we doing? The Expanse, Romeo is Dead Man, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And the most anticipated game, there's no reason to put anything here except Grand Theft Auto 6. There's no reason to even have a category this year. Just give it to Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, it's the console one with the 2 kart racer games. Like, huh? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about? Jason says, I figured that category should be for console exclusives. Many call Mario Kart World a downgrade from Mario Kart 8. How can it be a game of the year? Because Nintendo said so. Split Fiction was in one category, Mo. It was in Best Multiplayer Game. Best Multiplayer Game. Battlefield 6, Peak, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Split Fiction, Mario Kart World, and Rematch. Devil May Cry on Netflix was awful. Tell me the critic of qualifying for this list. Then can we talk? Best trailer was the Horizon 5. The fact that Expedition 33 isn't on the game of the year for them is a fucking crime. Yeah, well, did you play Sonic? Did you play Sonic Kart Racing? Eclipse? I didn't. I don't know. I just can't imagine that Sonic Racing is better than Split Fiction. I can't imagine that kart racing is better than Expedition 33. I can't imagine that it's like, What are we talking about? So ridiculous. But there we go. There we have it, chat. A couple stories that we do Monday through Thursday. Let's check out Twitter real fast, shall we? Let's check out Twitter. Let me see if there's anything going on with Twitter. Let's see if something's happening here. Prime Day turns Nintendo Switch into a steal. Excellent renewed model. Hits record low on Amazon. Not Switch 2, just the regular Switch. Okay. What else we got? Ridley Scott thinks modern movies are shit. Rewatches his own movies instead. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Hey, look. When they're excited about sharing something, they share it. Look at that. Not that it means anything, because it's a free-to-play game. Skate, 15 million plus players. Okay. Wow, thank you. Over 15 million players have jumped in, okay, since we launched early access. Season 1 kicks off tomorrow. We can't wait to skate the streets with everyone. Let's see what else is going on the Twitterverse. Yeah, we played it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't skating. I was skydiving, but you know. What else we got here? I don't think we have anything else. Future Xbox consoles not canceled, Microsoft says. We've already read that. Avowed Studio Obsidian removed several games from sale due to Unity's security issues. Yeah, I saw something about that. I didn't understand what was going on. Preload Battlefield 6 now. So those of you that are interested in Battlefield 6, you can go to New Zealand and download it early, or you can wait until East Coast, New York time, 11 Eastern. Global release times on October 10th. All right, so October 11th. Oh, look at that. Do you see what they did there? Cheeky bastards. Cheeky bastards. You see what they did there? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it is October 11th. So it's like 11 o'clock New York Eastern. You would have to go ahead to 2 a.m., right? So that would be... Did they make it the same time? No, because they're in the... Is this the exact same... They're releasing at the exact same time, just that piece apart? They switched it? Right? Am I wrong here, Luke? Yeah, they made it later, right? They made New Zealand last, right? Because it's October. No, that's the future. It's the future because it's the 11th. Comes out the 10th here, the 11th there. Tokyo is at midnight, right? Midnight their time, which is the same time as the 11 o'clock over here, is it not? So are they releasing at the exact same time? Oh, that's going to be awful if they do that. Hold on a second. I gotta look it up. So is it releasing the exact same time for everybody? Let's see. 11 o'clock EST in the U.S. is... Yeah, that means it releases the exact same time. So they're dropping it all at the exact same time. So, because it's 12 a.m. in Tokyo on the 11th is 11 a.m. Eastern. So they are. They're releasing it at the exact same time. That's going to be horrendous. You guys are going to be waiting in such long queues. I say you guys because I'm not doing it. Global release all at the exact same time. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Yeah, but they didn't have to just do it in New Zealand, Titan. They could have done it like, that quadrant of the world, slowly build it up. But they know what people are going to do. They're just going to move it over. The servers are going to shit themselves, by the way. Good luck to you. Let me know when you guys get in the next day. All right. Black Ops 7 beta players complain about skill-based matchmaking and doors. Battlefield 6 community update. Okay, hold on. Let's see what this is. Okay, what we've learned. Hold on. Battlefield 6 community update. Play your way. The community update will share how translating insight from our community feedback and charges improvements for launch of Battlefield 6 on October 10th. What we've learned. With 30 Battlefield Lab sessions successfully completed alongside our community, a total of 92,351,578 hours played during the open, 92 million open beta. It's 92 million. Sorry, 92,351,578 open beta. Battlefield 6 most tested, interested Battlefield game in history, and player agency remains at the heart of it. Battlefield 6 has more ways to play than ever. And though the open beta is aimed to validate the scale and offering multiple playlists, and peril would not be compromised an authentic Battlefield experience. Sure. Battle Royale. Here's a closer look at some of the most important data points we reviewed in a summarized finding for each. Class pick rates. Okay, the map layout was the main deciding factor for the class picks. For example, support had a higher pick rate of Siege of Cairo, which is also a CQC-focused map. All right. It was also a liberated offense, also more long-distance combat opportunities. There's also saw increased pick rate of recon. Comparing between open and closed weapon playlists, we observed that most identically class pick rates were 1% to 2% different at most. Kills per hour also remained virtually consistent of both playlist types. Open weapon players scored 0.2 more, in Conquest and 0.1 in Breakthrough. Match lengths, match duration increased slightly with also closed weapons playlist by up to 45 seconds to up to 3.75 difference in both Breakthrough and Conquest. Revives also observed a slightly higher revive rate for closed weapons at 3% for Breakthrough than 2% of Conquest. Do you know why they're doing this, right? Do you know why they're telling you the difference between closed weapons and closed class and open class, right? Because obviously they have to make a gist of, well, see, there's no big difference where you both like it the same type of stuff because they still want to monetize the shit out of the open weapons, right? Signature weapon usage. More players played with non-signature weapons in open weapon playlists. However, recon players still favored sniper rifles over other weapons, and their pick rate was identical between both playlist types. There was also not a single dominant weapon archetype, and there was also observed consistent and well-distributed pick rate between them. This balance showed that even the different playlist types, players explored a wide variety of options without one class standing out above the rest. Well, to be honest, it's a test. So wouldn't the people testing your game try out the game and test different classes for you? I don't think this is going to stay the same when it actually releases, but whatever. Time in combat, there was no difference of note of time players spent in combat between open and closed weapon playlist types. The actual difference were only fractions of percent were rounded up, and the results were identical. Okay. Lastly, another key insight from the open beta was that the vast majority of players, after trying both playlist types, chose to stick with open weapons. Now, remember what I said to you guys? That they're going to force you to do this, and obviously they can make. Obviously, data's data, but when they choose to show the data, that they would say that open weapons was, they have to make it. Well, see, you guys chose open weapons, and this is why we're keeping it in, right? But obviously, they are going to skew it that way, hence why they did what they did originally by hiding the closed weapon behind the thing. They're putting the closed weapon in here, but also a lot of people that are playing in the open test are also not Battlefield players. They're Call of Duty players and other people that didn't play. And they got the information from them, and they wanted open class, which is not really the core audience of Battlefield. But whatever. So we recognize that some of the players prefer closed weapon experience. To support them, officially closed weapons playlists will be available at launch. Okay, they're doing us a favor. They're doing us a solid. Well, we're keeping it there for you. Additionally, closed weapons mutators will remain part of the Portal toolset, so players can create and share their own custom experiences. Menu and playlist updates for launch. We're also making it further changes to improve the playlists and menus as directed results of some of the feedback. All launch maps will be available across playlists from day one, giving you the freedom to play whichever map you prefer. We've tested having multiple modes and single playlists during the open beta and learned that the players favor playlists and combined modes, and we'll also continue to iterate on the adjust playlist to deliver the best Battlefield experience possible. You'll also have the flexibility to play in both single mode and mixed mode playlists at launch. Conquest, Breakthrough, and Escalation will also each have their own dedicated playlists alongside. They don't understand what's going to happen here. Okay. I'm assuming the people that are in charge at Battlefield, a lot of them have never made a Battlefield game before or multiplayer. Now, I know Vince Zampella is very good at what he does, but you're giving way too many options. Way too many options. You're going to split the player base so much. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to look fine right when it starts, right? Right? You put kids in the back of the car and you just start driving. They seem fine, right? But the longer you drive, the more irritated they get with each other. He's touching me. She's touching me. Kids, don't make me turn this car around. That's what's going to happen. The longer this game stays out and the more options there are, the player base is going to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Because what's going to happen is, let's just give an example here. Let's say Breakthrough is not as popular as Escalation. So people that are playing Breakthrough are like, it's starting to get stale. So they move to Escalation, and then Escalation's it. No one's playing the Conquest. No one's playing Breakthrough, right? Then people are going to their Portal, and now they're just playing with their certain friends and their certain thing, and that's what they're doing. Other people are just making their own maps completely in Portal that have nothing to do with Battlefield whatsoever. So that player base is leaving, right? Then you have the other people that are just going to go play the Battle Royale section of it. And this is going to get worse and worse as more options come in. And they think it'll be fine, but it's not going to be fine. Okay, if you want to focus on specific modes outside of playlists, you'll always have to find it through a custom search and server browser. Custom search enables you to select which map and or combo you prefer, and you also match made into the match. These search criteria if available. If you have a higher chance of matchmaking into a preference, the more broader your search. Portal remains the tool of creating customizing experience, while also a section of the main menu previously called Portal is now called Community. This is where you also will find server browsers, which also now promptly featured to make it easier to find and use. Separately, we'll also launch with the Breakthrough, Conquest, and Rush as verified modes within the server browser. And this enables us to, for example, feature official hardcore experiences, which also known many of you are excited for. At launch, you'll also find new custom experiences designed to add even more gameplay variety. This will also be the first chance to dive into the new and improved Battlefield Portal toolset, now featuring powerful options to battle editing, and you cannot wait to see the creative ways in which you also use tools to build and share your own experiences. Launch and playlist rotation. We also learned a lot from the open beta, and we're also using feedback to foundation of launching Battlefield 6 when the game goes live. You'll find a range of playlist options to jump into, including single mode playlists for favorables like Breakthrough and Conquest, closed weapon experiences, intense close quarter battle playlist, and action-packed all-out warfare playlist. It'd be interesting to see how many people play the close quarter combat one. Also, be paying close attention to our feedback, adjusting the playlists, and adding new options and making it sure the things that always feel fresh, that you can also easily find matches and suits your style. Please keep sharing your thoughts and your beginning. Okay. On the horizon, we're incredibly excited to join the Battlefield at launch. We just beginning the Battlefield 6, and shortly after launch, you'll soon Season 1 on October 28th. Our season will have more content, and than ever before in the Battlefield game. Is also unpacked with you in the more detail during an upcoming moment. There's also much more to look forward to beyond the season of our team, including continues reviewing Battlefield Labs data, player feedback, and detailing completely new ideas for the future. Starting with the exciting new Battlefield take on Battle Royale. Separately, requests for naval warfare have not gone unnoticed, and also have calls for certain fan-favorite little helicopter platoons and more. We appreciate all the suggestions, and we also know that you're listening with the Season 1 and roadmap ahead. We're excited to continue to build a Battlefield that reflects what players want, and we continue to reading and listening to community channels. We cannot wait to share more with you. You know what's funny? Helldivers is a game for everyone, is a game for no one, and Battlefields is we're going to make a game for everyone. We'll see what works. The following gameplay update will include in our launch day patch with over 200 changes focusing on bug fixes, balance and improvements, and polish and release. Stay tuned for a full launch day update notes closer to launch. Player, you'll also notice the movement feels more responsive with changes made in pacing and several movement issues addressed in keeping gameplay smooth and balanced. Weapons recoil has been rebalanced in automatic weapons, making long-range gunplay more characteristic, rewarding tap firing and burst control. Numerous weapon attachments have also been fixed and now displayed correctly in the menu and in-game. The gadgets, map modes, rush breakthrough, layouts have been revised and better balanced between attackers and defenders. Operation Firestorm has been updated to improve vaulting, lighting, and performance. And the Siege of Cairo, spawn killing, and also out-of-bounds issues have been addressed, which is the top of the roof, which is stupid. I don't know why they would do that, but whatever. And that's basically it. So there you go. All right, chat. That's going to do it for me today. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back in about 30 minutes, for some gameplay with me and Mr. Luke playing probably Helldivers, I would assume. Other than that, appreciate it very much. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I'll let you guys listen to one of the new songs I've created. It's called the Optimization Blues. Since all the games come out and they're so optimized, We'll let you guys leave on that. Appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys tonight. If you guys don't come out this afternoon, we'll be back tonight over on 30 and Still Gaming as well. And if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow morning for the Daily Grind. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
For a slideshow. I fired up that brand new game, day one delight, but my rig's crying mercy, can't get through the night. Promise me glory, a world so alive, but my frame's hit the floor, I can't keep the dream alive. Optimization, yeah, it's always the same. Optimization, they don't respect the name. I paid my money, but I paid my dues. Got them day one broken game. Optimization blues. Starfield, Redfall, Forspoken too. Big old promises, but they just won't do. Last of Us PC, man, it crashed on cue. Borderlands 4 burning, GPU turn blue. Monster Hunter Wild, I sharpened my blade, but the frames per second just slipped and swayed. Black Myth Wukong, a legend inside, but that stutter step dragon just ain't running right. Optimization, they sell the dream is true. Optimization, but never find sky's calling me, but the frame drops hit harder than artillery. Skate rolls in, but it skids on the floor. 30 frames later, I don't skate no more. Jedi survivor swinging, lightsaber bright, but my PC is screaming, I can't fight. Battlefield taught it to, thought you redeemed, but it's lag on lag in a broken dream. Rush release schedules, oh, they push 'em out fast. Console first, PCs always last. World's getting bigger, engines can't cope, DLS can't save what's already broke. Gamers just take it, fix it later, they say. But